All right, everybody. Well, hey, we'll get rocking and rolling here on this Monday night. Hope you guys are all doing well. This being Monday, the 13th of Valentine's Eve. Hope you guys all had a great weekend and a very busy weekend. I want to thank all of the amazing people in Houston at the Prosperity Real Estate Group on the Right Path Real Estate radio show with Jason Bible. Big thanks to him. Big thanks to AC Rom, us as well as the Prosperity. And then also want to give a big shout out to Nathan and Quincy Long at Quest IRA and all the Questies for inviting me out Saturday to be a vendor at their pizza and probate event. So if you guys are joining me for the first time from any of those events, welcome to the Monday Note. Our topic tonight is, hey, how to get some ass on Monday night. Now, typical, what I will tell you guys here is a little racy, having a little bit of fun. It'll be Valentine's Day and the whole 50 Shades of Grey that's coming out. Or it came out over the weekend, but I always like to have fun. So a lot of people wonder, what's ASS stand for? It stands for Assist, Strategize, and Support. And we'll get into a little bit more of the content here in a little bit, but that's what the ASS stands for. If you guys can laugh and chuckle, that's an amazing thing. I believe you got to have a sense of humor in this industry to really take things to a whole new level, to really succeed in life. Don't take yourself too seriously, and God knows that I don't. So anyway, who's on the Monday night, on the Monday Note conference calls? We host these just about every Monday, provided there's not a holiday or a travel situation going on. But we have a variety of people on the call. We have real estate investors. We have active note investors, people who are buying paper, real estate investors looking to get in the paper game. And we also have a variety of people looking to lend on potential deals, joint venture partnerships, or private lenders wanting to learn a little more about the note business. All right. Now, these calls are recorded. I have hit the red button here to record this thing. We get these things also uploaded to YouTube and Vimeo accounts. And so you can always catch the replays by going to our Vimeo account, vimeo.com/WeCloseNotes. And you'll be able to download hours and hours and hours of these recorded Monday Note calls. All right. Keith says he laughed his ass off when I read your email. Awesome. Well, you have no idea what you're in for tomorrow. I only received 3 negative emails on my comments, so I'm sure I'll double that, triple that tomorrow with what I've got lined up for tomorrow. But anyway, the idea is, guys, is laugh, have some fun, be humorous. If you're too serious and can't find fun in that, you probably don't want to be on these calls anyway. So anyway, diving into it. Always, guys, connect with me online on the major ones, obviously Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can always find me by searching for One Scott Carson or at One Scott Carson. And then also with our videos, you can find us by searching either at We Close Notes or just looking for We Close Notes on YouTube or Vimeo.com. Now, we've had a couple events take place and a couple things going on. Next weekend, hey, Steph?
Yeah.
How many spots do we have left in next week's Fast Track training? We got 2 left? We have 3 left. Okay. So 3 people are available with 3 spots left for our Fast Track training. Now, for those of you that are wondering what the Fast Track training, if you've been through one of our virtual note buying for dummies workshops, we keep these fast training events small to really help people take their game to a whole different level. So if they need some hand-holding or butt-kicking or really have an idea how to figure out their true plan of action, that's what the Fast Track is for. Come in and spend 3 days with us here in Austin. We'll dive into raising capital and your business plans. We'll talk a little about marketing, but it's really focused more so on your business and how are you implementing and what actions are you taking to make things happen. Besides getting access to the mastermind group, you can come to 3 mastermind events in a year. You're going to get some IRA investors. You're going to walk out with my listed Rolodex database. Literally, I would call it a true business in the box. It is customized to your needs. Every Fast Track is completely different, because everybody's different that's in the group. Someone has different strengths and weaknesses. Like I said, small group of 10 people max. We got a few of our marketing minions in this picture here with Nicole and Ryan and Jennifer and then Greg over here. And then Steph, who's not a minion. She is the note queen, I guess you'd say, right there in the middle, front and center. We also have reserved assets for you to bid on. We'll often get a couple tapes in that you can start breaking down and looking at deals as well. Our next spot, like I said, 3 spots remain, February 24th through the 26th. That's the next Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then in March, we've got 4 spots available. And for some weird reason on the calendar, it landed on the 24th, 25th, and 26th. Now, cost for this is $89.97. It's right at $9,000. It's good for you and a spouse. We do have a couple different payment plan options for you guys if you're interested. But I know some of you guys talked to me right after the fast track we had 2 weeks ago. Or not the fast track, but the virtual note buying for dummies workshop, and showed some interest on it. Hey, take advantage of now, because we won't have one in April, because the next mastermind is in April 7th, 8th, and 9th here in Austin, Texas. So we're really excited about that. And we got some great stuff. So if there's any questions about the fast track involved with that, we should move on to getting some ads. But before I mention this, somebody wanted an update. Somebody really enjoyed my my LinkedIn strategy that I shared a couple days ago. And on one of my my note closures videos I do every morning around 10 o'clock in the morning for 15 to 25 minutes. Well, in the last 30 days, my LinkedIn connections have gone from 6,300 to just shy of 7,800, I believe 7,600 maybe. But I've added 1,300 connections and sent an email out to a big chunk of those, and only a few people opted out. Now, that doesn't mean people aren't reading it. Maybe they aren't opting out, but it had a really good open rate, higher than expected. So really excited about that strategy, to being very, very focused on that aspect. Now, a large chunk of that, over half, that has come in the last 2 weeks with what we're doing. Literally going and typing in real estate investors in the search engine at the top, and it's giving me literally just thousands of people. I'm just going to connect with real estate investors, fellow real estate investors. Now, it works well because I do have a complete profile, and I share on a regular basis. If you're brand new, you're not going to be able to add that many as you go. But I made sure that real estate investors that were second-degree connections, not first-degree, second degrees, and it's actually really just, I'm amazed at how much has popped up from that. But we are excited. Is there a fast track in May, Russ asks? Yes, there will be a fast track in May, the 12th, 13th, and 14th. It'll be the only weekend I'm home in May, actually. The following weekend will be in San Diego for Laughlin Associates with Aaron Young's, his big event. We'll be at Secret Knock a couple days later as well, the 22nd and 23rd in Beverly Hills. We're excited about that. And then we're headed to the Dominican Republic for a little fun. So, but yeah, there's that in May. We'll have one in June. Usually around the third weekend of June is when we're expected, 3rd or 4th, the 23rd, 24th, and 25th also in June. July, we don't have one slated yet because we're looking for the mastermind to be the last weekend of July. So yeah, we expect to have 8 months this year with fast tracks. Jeff asked a question, what's the cost of the fast track? $89.97, so right at $9,000. Okay. Your membership in the mastermind, you come to 3 mastermind events, you get my Rolodex of connections and a lot of help, a lot of hand-holding. And you also get to spend a little bit of time here during the fast track with the guy that just videoed in here just a second ago. Total great timing, Mr. Chase Thompson.
Listen, man, I got to be good at some things. Just I'm not good at a lot. No, I'm just kidding. I specialize in some things, and timing is right.
Perfect timing on that. So what I have, some of you guys are very familiar with Chase, and we've got some great things going on. We're really excited. He's got an event this next weekend that we've been helping him assist with, and that's what tonight's topic is really going to be about. How Chase's marketing madness can really help assist you guys with strategy and support in your marketing to help you take your business to the next level. So, Chase, I know you've got a very informal kind of presentation because I figure we'd just be riffing and asking and taking questions for the most. Nice gut shot there, buddy.
Listen, man, I'm working on it. 2016 or 2017. Just kind of funny story. My daughter, who's in pre-K, she was telling me about her abdominals, which she pronounced the other day, and I was like, "What is she talking about?" And then she was like on the ground, and I was like, "Oh, she's in gym class now." It totally floored me that I now have a person that lives in that's in gym.
This little munchkin that runs around and actually has a different mental capacity than you do, huh?
Yeah, it just is. I can't even handle it. So, real quick, I do have an informal presentation. But for anybody that happened to catch a video I shot today that was posted to YouTube, literally at 8:21 today, my laptop just decided to give up, is what I'm going to say here. It might have had something to do with a cup of water. It might not have had something to do with a cup of water. If Apple is watching, it had nothing to do with a cup of water.
Yeah, because it was given some problems on the last fast track, you know. So
Listen,
we just blame it on that.
Tons of problems before the cup of water. So essentially, I had to get a new laptop today, which resulted in a scramble the entire day. So this is a very basic presentation. But really, I just wanted to touch base on a couple of key mistakes that I see people making fairly often when it comes to marketing. And this is as bare bones as a presentation could possibly be from a PowerPoint perspective, because it's just been a scramble all day.
That's okay. Hey, I'm gonna share this screen and make you the presenter so you can pull it up. Is that cool?
Okay, let me know if I'm doing it wrong whenever it happens.
I will walk you through like you do with me with the Hangout. So.
Yeah,
it's something pop on your screen. Accept.
Show my screen.
That's perfect. Now you just got to go maximize it, and you're good. Look at that.
Is it working?
It's perfect.
Okay, I don't have a mouse now. Right, hold on. I don't have a mouse now. I got to minimize this. Okay, there we go. Okay, do we look good? Can you hear me? Did I just? Okay. I was like, hopefully I didn't just ruin everything. So yeah, so basically we're going to do a quick run through on the 10 big mistakes, or 10 of the biggest mistakes that I kind of see people making when it comes to their marketing. These things plus a ton more is what we're going to be essentially covering over the next, or over that 3-day training, over that 3-day kind of workshop we have coming up this weekend. I have notes on notes on notes as far as pages and pages and pages of stuff that we're going to be covering content-wise. But these are kind of like I said, some of the bigger things, and they'll be addressed in multiple different facets. So let's just kind of like dive in on this, and then we get into some Q&A. As we're going through this, guys, one quick thing to kind of keep note of, or something that you should be doing, as it were. If you have current questions about marketing in your business, about what you've heard, what you've been doing, what you've been executing against, what you think you should be executing against, across pretty much any platform, whether it's video, Facebook, email, branding, signs on the side of your car, I mean, whatever, right? Like business cards. Just be making a note of those questions, or type them into the chat so Scott can see those. We can address them and all that kind of stuff when that time comes. But I really want to dive in on these, so let's get going. Like I said, guys, super bare bones. Don't be mad. Number one. And these are just all listed on the screen. So again, I tried very diligently to get together. Number one is people ignore marketing, period. This is kind of the biggest mistake that I see people making, especially when it comes to real estate, especially when they have access to capital in the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Totally agree with that, man. They just like, why do I need to market and raise capital? I've got my own capital.
Yeah, it's bonkers. One of the big things, I mean, I see this all the time. I've had to coach people through this, but it did not hit home with me until I started partnering with some people that came into that were in this situation, right? That they had their own capital, they didn't think they had to do the marketing piece, and then all of a sudden their capital is deployed, and now they're sitting there twiddling their thumbs because it's all out. What do I do now? What do I do? What do I have going on? And they had nothing left to kind of fall back on regarding new capital coming in for new deals, new things like that, and they're just sitting there kind of holding the bag. All the money's deployed, and they're just holding the empty bag, right? That's number one. So when it came to like partnering with some of the people that I work with now, their business, essentially, it broke the systems that they had in place for their business, because their business was built on being able to do XYZ number of deals because this is how much money we had, right? And they couldn't extend any further, right? So I come on the scene, start doing some marketing, and then all of a sudden we have an influx of dollars. That means an influx of more deals. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh crap, our systems are breaking down because we're not built to do this way. This is fantastic. So then we got to retool our systems in our business. It's a great problem to have. But this is one of the biggest mistakes I see people make. Number two is going to be waiting to start. There's probably 40 million, if you go to Google and search in some form or fashion, like, is it too late to X, right? Is it too late to start on YouTube? Is it too late to start a Facebook page? Is it too late to start building an email? Like, you're just going to find an unbelievable amount of search volume for that term because it's insane, number one, so people write about it because it's crazy and it's easy to write about. But it's, one, never too late. Number two, why are you waiting? We just talked about ignoring it. Get started. It's today, what is it? When's the best time, to plant a tree, right? Like yesterday, like last year, right? When's the second best time? Yesterday. When's the best time today? It's the same thing when it comes to your marketing. When was the best time to start marketing? A year ago, right? When's the second best time? Yesterday. When's the best time? If all of those have been extinguished, today. Get started today. Whether it's video, whether it's Facebook, email, making phone calls, going and belly to belly at REI events, whatever it is, get started today. In conjunction with that is number three, which is making your marketing perfect. This is quintessential why people either A, ignore it, or B, wait, because it isn't perfect yet. I'm sure you see this all the time, Scott, right? People will say, I don't want to send this email yet because, I haven't had the fourth or fifth person look over it to make sure there's no errors, or this image or this video or whatever. They're hamstrung by their lack, or by their, I don't want to say even perfectionism, because they're just hamstrung by this fear. They're hamstrung by this lack of it being perfect, right? And so it causes them to wait, and it causes them to ignore.
Yeah, it's totally overanalysis paralysis.
Yep,
we see
absolutely.
People that struggle with it. Everything's got to be perfect, or I can't send it out because somebody's going to make fun of me. And it's kind of a fear versus just get it done. I think those same people struggle with hiring somebody and delegation too, because they think everything's got to be 100% perfect. The perfectionist in them really hamstrings them instead of being a good thing. You know what I mean?
Right. And what I like to talk about, and we'll be covering during the event, is essentially this idea that, everyone wants to have this conversation of quality or quantity, right? Quality or quantity. What am I going for? Am I trying to get the quantity out there, or am I trying to get the quality out there? What is it I'm after? And what I like to teach, what I like to present people with the idea of, is that quality comes from quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you're thinking about it in terms of, let's say you're taking a pottery class, right? And you got to make little, bowls or crappy little ashtrays or whatever, right? You absolutely positively are not going to be able to make the perfect pot the first time. You're going to have to make 1,000 of them, right? It's never going to happen that first brush stroke on your first canvas is going to be perfect, or that it's going to be quality. Quality is going to come from quantity. You have to produce, essentially. So waiting for that perfect piece is just, it's crazy. It's crazy. And it's definitely a mistake.
If you look back at some of your first marketing pieces, and I look back at some of my first marketing pieces, some of them are pretty downright ugly. I mean, you've made fun of me for that. There's the video where I had the growing squirrel and the dry erase board in the background, the camera that's shaking, but at least it got it out. Got the content out for the most part, and it ranked so well for years, even though it was far from perfect. Totally.
One of the things that, anybody, well, I don't want to say anybody's welcome to say whatever they want about Scott, but what I am saying is one of the big things that you bring to your business, bring to the table when it comes to kind of these three in general, is that when you have an idea, when you have a thought, when you have like a, here's an idea for a potential marketing piece, or whatever the case is, your next step is execute, right? Your next step isn't, I'm going to send out this thing, and maybe it won't be vacillation to the point of not actually taking action, right? You were so great about be a great marketing piece, X. And now I'm going to go create it, I'm going to put it out in the world and see what the reception is. Because that's really the only way you're going to know, right? You putting out the email for this, right? Assist, strategize, and support, right? The ass email, right? You were like, look, man, I got a couple of pieces of bad feedback, right? 2, right? To your list of thousands. Look, man, you've got to continue to just produce, and that quality will come from the quantity. It's one of the quintessential pieces of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Next up,
we got a couple questions here. let's see here. And I'm not going to I think I'm going to wait back, come back and ask Jennifer because I think you may cover a little bit of this. But Bill asked the question, or actually just says, once you stop worrying about failure, you have a better chance to succeed. That's a really good thing. I mean, you guys heard me say, you guarantee nothing by not trying except failure. And so, yeah, good comment there, Bill.
Yeah, I think to underline kind of this slide in general, and I tried to group these in such a way that they kind of made sense, but one of the biggest things here is that people stress about it, right? They stress about, I don't know what I'm doing, yada, 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 so they ignore it. Or they stress about, oh, I don't know all the right tools and things like that, which, by the way, we're going to cover every single tool at the event this weekend, and so they wait, right? Or they stress about, oh, this piece isn't perfect, right? One of my favorite quotes regarding kind of this stress slide, as it were, comes from Tony Robbins. And he says, stress is the achiever word for fear. Stress is the achiever word for fear. And if I follow that stress, and you kind of keep following that line, you'll get to your deepest kind of fear regarding it, right? And what that really is what it is here. It's this fear that, like you said, someone's going to make fun of me, or someone's not going to like it, or whatever the case may be. Listen, you got to get over that. And that's kind of what this slide is about. You got to get over that level of fear, because guess what? If you want to grow your business, there's going to be some scarier stuff than putting together a graphic for your business, right? Mm-hmm. There's going to be scarier stuff than writing a blog post. There's going to be scarier things. There's going to be bigger stressors than putting out an email that has a copywriting error, right? Like, there's no way that your biggest stress or your biggest fear should come from loading up Canva, which is for those that don't know, is a great website for creating graphics. It's free online, right? If that's your biggest fear regarding your business, I want your business. Like if that's the biggest worry that you're ever going to have in your business, I don't even understand how your business operates, right? This is about getting over that and getting to the next level. Number 4.
As Laura says here, perfectionism is the ugly stepsister of procrastination.
Exactly. Yeah, that is very true. Again, rings true because I've got a couple of darling little girls, and of course they love to watch princess shows, and of course the evil stepsisters and what have you. Those, they could easily be named, procrastination and perfectionism, no question. Number 4 here, biggest mistake that I see: marketing without defining your target audience. I've talked about this time and again. You need to be creating a persona, an avatar type client that you're going after. Now listen, if somebody comes to you and they're like, hey, I saw you post on Facebook or YouTube or an email or at an REI or whatever the case may be, or somebody told me about you, I want to know more about your business, yada, 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 and they're outside of this avatar we're about to talk about, don't not take their money, right? Like, if it's a good fit, obviously have them invest with you. Obviously, make that connection and use their capital to grow what they're trying to do and what you're trying to do. No question. No one's saying don't do that, right? But when it comes to actually putting out your marketing pieces, you need to have in place some sort of persona, some sort of avatar that your traditional client is. Your clients shouldn't be self-directed IRA investors. It's too broad. It's too big. Now, you could market to self-directed IRA investors, no question. But when it comes to actually keying in what you're trying to accomplish with a particular marketing piece or video or email or graphic or whatever the case may be, you need to have somebody in mind, right? So this is not a place where I necessarily struggled, but when I started marketing, I started raising capital pretty quickly. And I just ran basically the analysis of who was investing with me at the time, and it came out to be, it was a self-directed IRA investor, typically male, typically 46 to 50, 2 kids, had 150,000 in investing dollars spread kind of around, right? But loved the job that they were in, had no intention of leaving, right? Just wanted to continue to set themselves up for retirement. So my typical client, the person that was bringing capital to me that I was attracting, was that person, right? Self-directed IRA, 46 to 50, male, 2 kids, had a job he loved, drives a Toyota Corolla, right? In a like just break it down. Has a chocolate lab, right? Or in Scott's case, a white coat or yellow coat lab, right? That breaking it down to that level is where you're going to start to really hone a message. And then Sunday, one of the big things we're going to talk about is branding. And you're really going to be able to start to brand around that. But like I said before, that doesn't negate someone who's 42 or 40 or 35 or whatever coming to you for your expertise, coming to you to be able to invest with you or whatever the case may be. But it helps you hone a message. And it's one of those things that we talk about where you're, and Scott likes to talk about it a lot, but it's this idea of being a jack of all trades, master of none, essentially. I know you guys have heard that phrase before. Your marketing can very quickly become that if you're not focused on a particular persona, a particular avatar, a particular type of person. And the biggest place, two big areas I'll give you, kind of two insights here, especially, like for people that will be in the room this weekend that we're going to key in on, is your past, right? Like two big places that I see people not utilizing enough is, kind of where they came from, say, military or that type of structured opportunity where they can really speak the language and help people in a scenario they were in before understand the opportunities they have before them. So that military background, that military experience, that type of experience is so fantastic because it's a great market to serve. You're just helping other people in a tremendous way, and you can speak their language, and you can work with them on a level other people can't sometimes, right? And then, of course, whatever your work background was. Like if you were a dentist for 15 years and now all of a sudden you're getting into the real estate game, or heck, let's say you're a dentist now and you want to stay being a dentist, whatever. I'm sure we can find a deal for you. But you can still use these marketing tips now, right? But let's say you were a dentist for 15 years. You know what they're thinking. You know where their money is. You know where their money comes from. You know what type of windfall they get sometimes throughout the years, all these different things. And it allows you to hone in and find that marketing niche, as it were, that persona, that avatar that you can specifically target and market to, that is going to just jive with you. And you can do just as it's a win-win, essentially. And there's people out there that you absolutely can market to and raise capital from that I can't, and Scott can't. For whatever reason, right? Like you speak their language, you have a background that they jive with, or you just have a personality that's more charismatic than mine. Highly unlikely, but whatever. Right? No, I'm just kidding. But for real, understand that you have an opportunity with an audience, with some people that other people don't, and you need to be taking advantage of that. Number 5, and this dovetails into that, not creating an email list. This is bonkers. This is one of the most egregious ones on this list. If you're going to events and collecting business cards and then just like putting them on your nightstand or putting them in your desk drawer or whatever the case may be, just put them in the trash because it's essentially the same thing. It's the same thing. If you're not plugging those into an email service tool, a CRM like a MailChimp or an Aweber, if you're not slowly building that email list, if you're not taking emails from people you've connected with on LinkedIn, which we're going to talk about this weekend, if you're not creating content in such a way, whether that be, again, video or blogging or like myself, I do the Note MBA podcast. I have a whole podcast about note investing. We build an email list on this. It's very, very, very important that you are always, always, always focused on building this email list. It is for people that think email is dead or that like email doesn't convert or whatever the case may be, is just crazy. It's just crazy. Think about how you became aware of this event, right? Even if, let's say you saw Scott at a live event, or even if, right, you saw him over on Facebook or whatever the case may be, you guaranteed are on his email list now, right, number 1. But if you saw him in person, without question, the person that heads up your Quest IRA event or RIA event or whatever, they're on Scott's email list. They know he's doing stuff, so they want to have him come out. He's crazy when it comes to email, and for good reason. I have a consistent email that goes out every single Monday, even on days like today when my laptop catches fire in my lap. I'm still going to find a way from my cell phone to get an email out, which, by the way, was a little harder than I anticipated, but it happened. It's so important, guys. It's that important. It's unbelievable. Number
Scott Van
6.
Camp says not only is
Yeah.
Chase the ass man, he is also a smart ass. Great stuff.
Yeah, listen, man. Worst case scenario, you come out this weekend, you'll at least laugh your butt off, right? Like, worst case scenario, you'll be entertained. Like, it'll be like, what is that, Gladiator? Are you not entertained? I'll
Are
be
you
in a
not
ring with
entertained?
in a ring with a lion. It'll happen, right? Number 6. Uh, this is another one that even I sometimes fall into the trap of a little bit. Not creating an editorial calendar or sticking to some kind of schedule. They're technically kind of two different things, but essentially an editorial calendar is just a way for you to track really great ideas you have from a marketing perspective, right? This week I want to do a video on X. This week I want to do a podcast on this. This week I want to post to Facebook about that, or I want to send out an email about that. And slowly but surely building up this calendar of, so you don't always have to come up with a fresh idea today. Oh crap, I gotta put a piece of content out today. I gotta market today. And then all of a sudden you're stuck, right? You don't have any ideas, you don't have anything going on. When you can lean on this already produced calendar that you were, one of the things I like to do is just sit down, right? Like sit down every 2 weeks and just kind of like map ideas, game plan ideas, essentially, just so that way it's easier for me when it comes time for all of that, for how much we're producing and stuff. But that's one thing. And then the other side of that is obviously sticking to the schedule. This is consistency. I've talked about it 100 times. Consistency is the only real human superpower. None of us are flying. None of us are going to have X-ray vision, probably. Laser vision, these types of things. Some of us are strong. Listen, I'm not that strong, but some of us have that super strength. But for real, consistency is the only human superpower. If you can show up every single time you say you're going to show up, it will blow your mind how many people will come out of nowhere and just, especially in the space of real estate, want to invest with you. There's so many fly-by-nights. There's so many people that are, a flash in the pan, right? We'd like to talk about it, and of course we're going to be covering this a little more when it comes to follow-up, but you need to basically essentially hit them upside the head with a marketing piece 5, 7, 8, 12 times before they're really going to start paying attention, because people are bombarded so much now. And if you're not consistent, you're not going to follow that pattern of essentially hitting them up all the time, and they're going to forget about you. That's what makes consistency so important. Number 7, you're selling instead of teaching. This is one of my favorite, what would you call it, Scott? One of my favorite, not analogies, but kind of business stories. And I don't want to give it away here because people that are in the room are going to kind of like really get a really cool little take-home gift that involves this kind of story. But essentially what you need to remember is there's a pecking order for how you need to be marketing. There's a pecking order for how you need to be marketing. Number 1, is it entertaining? You need to entertain. Number 2, you need to educate. And number 3, at the bottom, is when you can start selling. Entertain, educate, sell. That's what is the necessary order when it comes to this. And again, there's a great story, illustration, what have you. That'll be kind of a part of that, and it'll just drill into your head when you're at the event this weekend. But that's the order. Entertain, educate, then sell. So often this is, oh man, this bothers me to no end. When people just, hey, what is it you do? Oh, I like to invest in non-performing notes. And the reason why I invest in non-performing notes is because it gets a deeper discount than it. Ugh, it's over. It's over. You're just selling yourself. Oh, it bothers me to no end. That is a huge, huge, huge pet peeve of mine. Number 8, you only keep talking about you. It kind of falls back a little bit on that always selling bit. But one of the things that a sales coach I had used to say is, he called it DDT. DDT.
Diamond Dallas Page? Or that's DDP?
Yeah. like D as in dog, Titan. Anyway, DDT. Um, it's funny. It was his dig deep technique. DDT, dig deep technique. Essentially, he'd like to say, dig deep or go to sleep, which essentially means dig deep or go out of business. What you need to be doing is asking questions when you encounter, when you're talking with people out there at the REI events, when you're talking to people at Quest events or RIA events or whatever the case may be, if you're going to coffee with somebody and they're inquiring about your business, you need to turn that back around and dig deep. You need to, essentially ask them the questions, right? What have you invested in recently? What have you invested in before? How's that working for you? What are the goals you have with the investments you're doing? Like, dig deep, find out what's happening in their world, in their life, because that makes it much easier for you to actually be of service to them. Because if they're not interested in what you're trying to do, you're wasting both of your time by just blip, 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 talking about yourself.
Are you talking the anti-Tai Lopez clause here?
Wow. I am essentially. So remember,
Yeah.
dig deep or go to sleep. Stop talking about yourself. Only talking about you is killer. Number 9, you have no strategy. Like, this is crazy. This is unbelievable sometimes when you just see people just throwing spaghetti, right? We just talked about quality comes from quantity. That doesn't mean you don't have a strategy. That doesn't mean you just kind of like produce a bunch of crap, right? Just for the sake of it, right? You need to have a strategy. This is essentially one of the things that everybody's going to be kind of leaving with on come Sunday. After getting all the tools, getting all the education, getting all the things they need to get, right? They're going to be leaving with that custom, essentially, right? Strategy out the door, right? Because as the pieces start to fall in place, oh, I can do that. Oh, I see that. Oh, I can, and you start kind of picking up all of these different little nuggets that then you can apply. And you go, oh. And then on Sunday when we bring it all together, and it's that recipe, right? It's like baking a cake, essentially, right? You're like, oh, Facebook, that's the flour. Oh, video, that's the sugar, right? And you start to kind of pull all this stuff together. And then you have this recipe, you have this strategy to move forward. It's crazy how many people just throw stuff out there, hoping and praying that something's just gonna happen. You need a strategy. And number 10, this is kind of a funny one. And it's the only one with punctuation. Not making enough mistakes. This one sounds slightly counterintuitive, I know, but not making enough mistakes. This falls back on what we were talking about, the perfectionism thing and all that kind of stuff, but it's so important I wanted to reiterate it. The quantity breeding quality, the not wanting perfection, the being worried about what someone's going to think about you or whatever the case is. It's no one cares what it is that you're kind of doing out there enough to really be that effective, right? Like, they're so consumed in what's going on in their world that like it's highly unlikely that they're going to like really be that worried about, say, the mistakes you're making regarding a marketing piece or misspelling or in an email or whatever the case may be. You're just not making enough mistakes, flat out, if you're not kind of growing your business. You need to be constantly trying new things, constantly pushing yourself, moving forward with it, sending more emails, doing some more video, doing some more live event stuff, getting yourself out there. Because I guarantee when you start doing more and more and more of that, you're going to slip up. You're occasionally going to make a mistake. The graphic's not going to be sized right. You're going to slip up when you're talking in a video. Whatever the case may be, it doesn't really matter. Because by and large, while you're busy doing and while you're busy making the occasional mistake, 90% of people are going to be on the sidelines, and you're going to be closing that business. You're going to be getting that money, and you're going to be investing and growing, right? So this is another one that I see people making. They're just treading too lightly. You need to be out there making a mess, right? What is it? I can't even think of the phrase from the Magic School Bus. Miss Frizzle, she'd always say, like, make mistakes and get messy or something like that. You need to be out there doing that. Again, I have a lot of kid references. Sorry, I got little ones. The last thing, here's the sign up for you guys. We've got some really cool stuff planned. We can talk all about it whenever we kind of drop this down. But we did decide to kind of launch something based around a ton of requests. So if you guys want to get signed up for this weekend's event, we'll talk a lot more about what's kind of going to be covered here in a minute. But you can go to this link right here. bit.ly, that is bit.ly/marketing madness chase. Scott was like, bro, it's Valentine's Day coming up. You got to show him some love. And I was like, we will show him some love. So if you go to that site, you get signed up, you use the coupon code Valentine, you get $250 off. That's for the live event. On top of that, we had just an unbelievable amount of people that said, are you recording this? I can't make the travel date. I want to come to the event. Dude, when are you doing the next one? And to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know if or when I'll be doing the next one. So we wanted to kind of create an opportunity for those people. And since we do so much virtual when it comes to what Scott's got going on and things that we do like of that nature, what we've essentially got here is like a fly on the wall opportunity, right? So if you want to be part of the class, but you cannot make the travel, we'll have cameras set up and all of those kinds of things. And you can jump in. It's half the cost. The only caveat is you will not get the same hands-onness. So essentially the way that I've got the whole entire workshop set up is that everything is going to be basically done modularly, if that makes any sense. It'll be as if you went to, an expo, as it were. So the first hour and a half we're covering Y, the second hour, we're covering Z, and all of that kind of stuff. So at the end of these individual sessions, everybody in the room is going to be able to obviously live ask questions whenever they have them, but address any questions they have, address any issues they've got, really tackle somewhere where they're slipping up, whatever the case may be. If nobody happens to have any questions at the end of those sessions, we'll, kind of defer to whoever's on virtually, that fly on the wall. If we pass time on a session, or we've got to move on, or whatever the case may be, that's where this opportunity isn't as great, right? You want to be in the room, you want the hands-on, you want me to be able to specifically address what's happening with your Facebook page, your YouTube channel, the camera you're trying to shoot with, all of these things, right? The hands-on is going to be where it's at. If you can't make it, I get it. The fly-on-the-wall opportunity is there, though, for those people that definitely wanted to be able to attend, or at the very least wanted to see all of the things that we're going to be covering, and, have an opportunity to get a question or two answered when the time comes for that. So it'll be very similar to other virtual things that we've run before, kind of multicam. We'll have the overhead, just a lot of that other kind of stuff happening. And we will have some chat going on just to kind of monitor questions if there's time for that for the virtual people. But 100% my focus is going to be on everyone in the room and making sure that everyone in the room leaves with everything they need to just slay in 2017 and beyond with regards to their marketing. So if you guys have any questions about that or anything, we can definitely address that. I've got a whole list of all of the things that we will essentially be covering throughout the 3-day weekend in crazy detail. But yes, so you can head over there, bit.ly/marketing madness chase, get signed up. If for some reason the coupon code's not working or whatever, let me know. But that
When
is
they use the coupon code on that, Chase? Because I just clicked on it right now just to test through it. Where do they, as it's saying on the Gummer where it says, I want this, they click on that, and it takes them to a drop-down to pay, but where do they put the special code in to get for the discount?
It should be on the payment page. So I will drop down. I can close this out. Do you want to take power back there, and I can look at your screen? I can tell you exactly where to go. I'll go over there and I'll do it.
Yeah, on here. Let me do that. Let me change presenters. Okay.
I'll get it all done for you.
No problem. Change presenter. Nice got presenter. Okay. So share my screen.
Yep. Let's see
and
where
see where we're at there now?
I see you. I don't see a screen share.
Okay. Oh, hang on. Let me share my screen. Okay.
It should pop up whenever they get the to the credit card section. Is it not popping? Are you on the screen?
Well, it says email address, full name, and then they go credit card, card number, expiration date, and CV code, but no special code.
Well, it should work just fine. How about now?
Okay, so I want this.
Refresh.
Let
Can
me
you hit
refresh it.
refresh?
Yep, hang on. Nope.
Oh, it's showing up on mine. Let me see here. Do, 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 do. I'll bring it up on mine here real quick, and then might have to take back control from you here. Oh, I've got to log out. I'm logged in, so it like keeps showing me like my account, all like the save stuff. So it's
Right,
like not
right.
working. Yeah. So I'm like,
Well,
oh,
we got a couple questions here. While we
yeah, go for it. Hit me with a question. I've got the offer code right up at the top. If you want to share your screen with me, I can see the offer code right up at the top.
Making you presenter again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me hit show screen. Do you see right there? I've got an offer code right there. So if I plug in my info.
Oh, that didn't show up when I hit it a second ago.
Oh, okay. And then I do Valentine.
Oh, never mind. I tried to do the email address. I missed it. It
Oh,
wasn't.
okay. Yeah, and it takes action right away. And then if you do virtual,
My bad.
it'll show the price kind of right then and there. Yeah.
Yeah. My bad.
Do we have questions now? You can take back control and ask the questions.
Well, we'll leave it on here. So, let's see here. I haven't been following Scott, and you don't intend to participate in your training. Okay, thanks. Just want to say thanks for your suggestions. My business is completely different from yours, so some of it doesn't apply. Should I keep watching, or have you finished your presentation tonight? Well, what's your question? The question is, what's your business?
Yeah, tell me what you got going on. What's your business? I'll bust it out for you right now. I will explode with whatever your business is. I'm like ready to start writing. Like I'm ready to go. I got pen in hand. I'll draw it out.
That was David George. So tell us what your business is. One of the things Chase is doing with his marketing madness, it is not just focused solely on note investing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Chase has got a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yeah, because we'll have some, like, fitness professionals in the room, potentially some mortgage individuals, like people that are like loan originators, insurance. If you have a cupcake shop, if you have like an auto body shop, if you, like I said, if you're a dentist, everything we're going to be covering will 100% be applicable to any business. We're not just talking about like Facebook marketing. It's not like, it is not like a blog post you're going to go Google, right? Like we're going to dive into like Facebook marketing, sure, hardcore, advanced, all that stuff, but we're also going to load up like Facebook ads. We're going to bring up a full Facebook ad platform, show you how to use the Power Editor, show you how to run through an ad, show you how to create, show you how to actually market out to people using things like Facebook ads, YouTube, all these, like, it's not just video marketing because like YouTube's hot and like video is an important thing to do with your business. It's literally, I had it on me. So, like, let's say, because again, my camera's downstairs, but let's say this is the only camera you have. This essentially, your phone is all you have, right? One of the big things that everybody coming to the event has to bring with them is whatever it is they can shoot video with. So if you get a DSLR, or you get some super cool mirrorless camera, or you have like a webcam, I don't care. I'm not going to cuss on like somebody else's webinar, but if all you have is your phone, it doesn't matter. Bring your phone, and I will show you how to absolutely increase your business dramatically with just your cell phone.
Right. So he says, my business is doing tax deeds, and doing what's known as overages that occur when someone loses their home in foreclosure. Yeah, that's cool. You're marketing. I'm sure you're probably marketing to raise capital, David. You're probably marketing your real estate deals. Lisa says something here. She said, there are so few vacations that Chase marketing would not apply or skillfully transfer to, like maybe an assassin would be the one.
Listen, they got to get paid too. If I had like a contract killer business, I think I'd be exploding right now. I think I could make it happen. Like literally what you just said is it's real estate. Yes, you're either marketing to get deals, get private capital, get awareness for your business. You're doing some form of marketing, whether you like it or not, and it's either going to be effective or it's not. And
let's talk about something. If somebody in your comment, well, I just went to a 3-day and the guy set up a website for me that will help me market. Because I hear that. I've got a website. I don't need to market. That's Go ahead, Chase. Let it go.
Listen, I would start with my DDT technique, and I would say, so what's your website built on? How's that working out for you? How many leads have you gotten so far? Like, I don't have a single problem if you want to make that a part of your marketing spoke. I think it's quite possibly a very important part of the marketing spoke, as it were, the website. But one, it is not the entirety, and if it is, good luck. And number two, it's in today's market, in today's world, it just flat out isn't that important. It 100% isn't that important. And I'm going to prove it to you in this way. We will be talking about websites. We will be talking about great ways to execute on websites. But I'm not going to teach someone how to build a website in that way. It's not what this is about. Most notably because that's a spoke at best. The best way I can prove it to you is to ask this person that had that, and I appreciate the comment, but how many times did you visit your website today, and how many times did you visit Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, or Twitter, or Snapchat today? Which one was more? And I already know the answer, so you don't have to give it to me.
Mm-hmm.
The answer is you went to Facebook 27 times today, and you didn't even go to your own website today. I mean, essentially, you might have just set it up, so you might have gone to it. But that's the point I'm trying to make. For so many people, the homepage, the internet, for a ton of people, is Facebook, and that's it. The internet, for a ton of people, is YouTube, and that's it. They don't go anywhere else. They don't care to go check out your website.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not on one of those platforms, you do not exist. This isn't me making things up. Like, because I have to, because I have a marketing event coming up this weekend. I have a ton of stats, which is so much fun. Essentially, here's the difference, right, between even my website. I've got a website, it's great. It's awesome. 17% of all web traffic on a daily basis goes through YouTube. 17% of all web traffic. None of our websites combined, if we took all of our websites combined, it wouldn't even be a fraction of a fraction of a fraction. That's the point. And Facebook's the same. They get 1 billion users a month. That's the thing that is so important about this class. That is the thing that is so important about this ignoring marketing, or the 10 mistakes I see people make. Item number 11, just having a website. Item number 12, not marketing on Facebook. Item number 13, not using video. That is crazy to me, that you would just use a website.
All right.
I've got a note because there's one more thing I want to touch base on. Not tonight, but in the class. You go. Okay. I'm just making notes for things we're just going to absolutely wrap on. I'm telling you guys, this is not stock. This is not organic. This stuff is, so good.
Bill asked a question, it'll be recorded. So if they can't make it live, they purchase the virtual aspect of it, and they watch the replays. They will, correct?
Yes, absolutely. So the entire virtual experience will be recorded and sent out to everybody, including the people in the room, right? Because those are, obviously they're going to want that. But then everybody, even if you can't make it to the virtual, you'll still get the replays, which is huge. Because then you get everything, right, that you basically need. You can walk through all the stuff in your own time. And that's why, the reason why the virtual is even going to exist is because I wanted to record it anyway. Because I wanted to record it for the people that are in the room. Because I know for a fact they're not going to get it all. They're just not. They're going to need to step back through a process. They're going to need to walk back through how we're setting up the Facebook ad stuff. They're going to need to walk back through how to set up the YouTube videos. They're going to need to walk through a ton of stuff. And I wanted that available to them. And my thought process is if I'm already recording it for them, I can make it available for those that kind of fly on the wall style.
Yeah.
And essentially that allows them to be there as well.
Yeah, exactly. Question here. If you do an educational email drip campaign to keep your name in front of the clients, how often is not enough or too much?
So, not often enough is the least amount of unsubscribes from quality email lists come when the emails are sent daily. What I'm basically saying is, if you send an email daily that doesn't suck, you get the least amount of unsubscribes, if that makes any sense. So technically daily is the best, but daily is a little crazy. Daily doesn't quite work for what most of us do. I think weekly is perfect. I think weekly is fantastic. It makes it really easy in terms of consistency. It's really easy to keep up with. You can set a day, set a time. You can sit down, you can write it, and get it done. The best is daily. Second best is weekly. And then it just kind of flows from there. Every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, once a month. Anything less than, to me, anything less than every 2 weeks is just don't even waste your time. Go do something else. Go execute a different way when it comes to marketing, essentially.
Let's see here. Give me a second here. Jennifer asks, hey, Chase, do you have any tips for keeping your marketing fresh? I want to reach my list of potential investors weekly, but struggle with what to share with them. I need a plan and someone to write for me.
And someone to write for. Awesome. Okay, someone to write it for you. I can't help you with that last part. So one of the easiest things to do to stay fresh, and I think, so this is actually day 2. We have a whole module on like this concept. But it kind of all falls into that idea creation, ideation kind of section. There's a couple of different suggestions I would have for you. We'll dive a little deeper in the training, but essentially one of the things I love to do is I actually have a marketing list, as it were. So I actually have a list. Let me break it. Oh, it's actually in this notebook. But essentially I have a notebook, right? And I literally just have a marketing list, and I keep it top to bottom. Whenever I have a new idea, a new concept, a new something that might work, I just write it on the next line. And then when it comes time to create content or think of something new for a video or whatever, I just defer to that list. And it does a couple of different things. Number one, it allows me to kind of create that editorial calendar without having to be super specific, first of all. Second of all, it lets my brain kind of germinate, right? It lets the subconscious just kind of, I write down an idea, I write down a concept maybe for some marketing or what have you, a marketing piece or whatever the case may be, and I just kind of let it sit. And then when it comes time, when the list finally gets down to that one, because I'm just checking off as I'm going through, when I finally get down to that one, I've almost already written the script. I've already written the email. I've already written the video. I've already written whatever it's going to be in the back of my head. I just go, oh yeah, I was going to do X, Y, Z. Boom, and I can go execute. Because it's just kind of been slowly germinating. So that's one reason why I like to do it that way. Another reason is because it lets me address current marketing stuff without losing space. So if I were to set up an editorial calendar, like a get a calendar, I'm going to talk about X, Y, Z on this day. And then all of a sudden I've got a really great deal that just finished. And I've got an awesome deal case study that I can use for marketing. I've got to push that around and I've got to kind of shuffle stuff. I just jump right in and I do the case study. And then I go back to my list. So that's the big thing for me. If you're reading an article, you're reading books, the last thing I'll say, and I'm trying to hurry because I'm probably scared more questions. The last thing I'll say is every time someone asks you a question about your business, that needs to be a marketing piece. Mm-hmm. Every single time someone asks you a question, that needs to be a marketing piece. And it needs to be an evergreen marketing piece, which means that it can be usable again and again and again. Because then you go, oh, that's actually a really great question. Can I get your email real quick? I can send you a link, I can send you a video, whatever the case may be. I'll answer it now, but it'll kind of give you a reference point for later on. That way you can get their email, always be building the email list, and then you can send them that piece. And of course it provides great SEO, blah, 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 blah. But it allows you to have that content ready to go. If someone asks you a question, that's a piece of content.
All right. So I think Gerald asked, do you set up RSS feeds for news and content to keep ideas fresh for you?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can do Google Alerts, RSS feeds. You could also do, there's a great tool. I've made a note of it. Anyway, long story short, it kind of creates a home screen for you where you can basically bring up a bunch of different really cool sites and stuff like that. The thing I like to use more than any of that, though, is actually a really cool app called Flipboard. I'm not sure if this will work here. There's the icon, Flipboard, yeah, right there. There we go. Let me just take that. Oh, nope. There we go. So Flipboard. So I really like Flipboard. You can see Scott there. What's up, buddy? So Flipboard's a really great app. They've got it. They got a web app. so you can just use it online. They've got an Android version, an iPhone version. They just came out with a new update to the app that is fantastic, but it allows you to essentially create tiny little magazines for yourself about a ton of different topics. So it could be business-related stuff as well as like you love pottery, like we talked about before, or whatever, taxing. But you can just create these magazines for yourself, and then it automatically pulls from sites you've never even heard of to think you need to make an RSS, feed for. It's fantastic.
I use Flipboard as well.
Yeah, Feedly is another really good one. Feedly, Feedly. Feedly is another good one.
Cool. Elena asks, is there a PayPal option?
I can create one.
Right.
I'll send me your email and I'll create one for you.
Which email should she send it to, just so you can send her a direct PayPal
link?
Link?
If anybody needs to ask me any questions additionally in case we obviously get cut on time or whatever, send me an email. It's Chase, like the bank, at notemba.com. So CHASE at NOTEMBA.com.
Chase, can you bring up your screen with the last slide with the link and the discount codes again? People are asking. What's the cost for virtual? Virtual's $500, guys. If you're going to be there in person, we're giving you a Valentine's Day special of $250. So use the code Valentine or virtual. Now, does it need to be exactly spelled like that, or is it case sensitive on the discount code, Chase? Do you know?
I think it's case sensitive. I can just make them all lowercase if that makes everyone. I just thought Valentine was kind of a specific word, so that's why in the virtuals. Case sensitive, I believe. If it doesn't work, just change the case, I would say.
That's right. Let's see a question here. Who asked this? Okay. Is entertain, educate, sell the formula for each piece of marketing? Do you write an entertainment piece, an education piece, and then a selling piece? The selling part always feels stiff.
Yeah. So I think. Do you just want me to leave this slide up, or do you want to go back?
Yeah,
to
leave it up. Right.
Okay.
The slide.
I think it's part of every piece a little bit, right? Like. So even if you're just devising, say, a flyer for a deal, or you're putting together a graphic for a case study you've done, or something like that, entertain doesn't always have to be like funny ha-ha, right? Like it doesn't have to always be some action movie or some Game of Thrones episode. It just means don't make crap, regardless of what that thing is, right? Try to make the best graphic you can. Try to make the best video you can. Bring your personality to the table, those types of things, right? Don't write stale emails like, I have a deal. Do you want to fund my deal? It's a great deal. Well, actually, that sounds really funny. But anyway, that just entertained the heck out of me. You should probably send me that email. That sounds great. But no, it comes down to create a really great-looking graphic. Go the extra mile. Take an extra step towards putting a little bit of effort when it comes to the entertainment side. The education side, again, should come from that, right? Let me drop this 1 second because I'm going to go to the video screen saying to me. So let's say this was a case study video I was doing for you, okay? It would be something like this. Hey everybody, Chase here from the Note MBA podcast. I want to talk a little bit today about an interesting case study we had on a deal that just closed out up in Indiana. We haven't quite had a deal happen just like this, so I thought it would be really important for you to kind of see how this one worked because it was a little tough to get through. Let's dive in. There's your intro, right? It's informative. There's an education piece. You know what's going on. But guess what? Wrapped inside this whole bucket of charisma and entertainment and education is a sell. Because we did a deal. Here's how it happened. It was a $30,000 deal. We get a lot. You say things like, you seed in things like, we get a lot of people that come to us with $30,000 to invest, and they don't think it's enough. But this deal was incredible, and it hit right at the price point. It was $28,000 full acquisition, and we blah, 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 blah. So when you feel like selling is stale because you potentially are sending marketing pieces like other people do, where they're just like, I need 50 grand, as opposed to talking about a deal that was 50 grand. And then talking about how that person started, maybe got to know you, started to invest with you, whatever the case may be, and you're selling through that education, through that entertainment process. And then at the very end, you might have that selling piece of, and by the way, if this deal looked good to you, or you have some questions about deals like this, send me an email at chase@notemba.com. I'd love to answer any questions you have. That's the selling component. Because then they're going to reach out, then they're going to email you. They know, like, and trust because they see that know what you're talking about, and you're super knowledgeable, and you've demonstrated your expertise, and now you just sold them on investing with you,
Right.
essentially.
It all comes down to just providing regular content. Hey,
Yeah.
here's a deal I'm working on, or a deal that I made offers on, or I didn't win this deal because the bids came in high, or here's the 3 reasons why I think this deal's going to work, or the 3 potential exit strategies. Here's my breakdown. There's a whole different thing to just entertaining. Is more than just look it's Women in Oats because it's a Marvel, or it's get some ass on Monday night. It's a it's a little bit different than just providing that stuff. It's just giving content a little thing. Hey, here's an article on the distressed asset market that was on DS News, and here's my opinion of the article. So there's a couple different ways to skin that cat proverbially. Let's see. Yofi has a question. What's the best way to direct it to market note investing to your colleagues for capital? I'm going to say that's a better direct email, Yofi, to Chase or myself about that. Or show up or be a fly on the wall and learn that out.
Yeah, I would say, obviously, to everybody on the call, like, do the virtual. If you can't be there in person, do the virtual. You flat out, 100%, will not get better marketing education, period, end of story, ever in the history of man, first of all. We will answer this question. But to get more granular, it's exactly everything we've been talking about, right? It's a direct email. It's the way that you brand yourself when you're out talking with, say, colleagues, or it's the way that you talk about things happening in your life on Facebook. What you might be wondering is, I don't want to piss off my boss, right, by doing the things. So we're going to cover those things in the class. For those people who are still W-2, right? For those people who still need to stay there, right? Like, I totally get it. I absolutely 100% totally understand it, and I want to help you raise the capital while you still have an opportunity from those people you're working with. But it's essentially all the stuff we've already talked about. You put the content out there. You might sow the seeds a little bit more carefully in terms of just the way that you were talking, branding, things like that. But it's 100% doable. No question.
Okay. What are the questions you guys have? bit.ly/marketing madness chase with the M's capitalized and the C in Chase. Once again, special code for just a quarter off, giving you a little Valentine pre-love here this evening. Valentine gets you $250. And if you just want to be a fly on the wall to see what's going on, to help you implement things, maybe you got a busy weekend, maybe you can't jump on a plane, but you want to catch the recordings. Trust me, guys and gals, 3 days of Chase just riffing, be a lot of great content in there and a lot of implementation strategies that a lot of people, trust me, we have had people come in and hang out with Chase and myself for a little bit, and we just literally dive into giving things. So, Chase, you want to talk about some of the things that you've got in store besides just the questions you've answered? You got anything? You got like a list of some of the other things topics you're focused on for the weekend?
Yeah, for sure. It says my webcam is hidden for some reason.
No, I can see you perfectly.
You've hidden webcams, but you're still sharing your webcam.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know what that means, but it says I've hidden them, but they're still showing, so I'm okay with it. I don't know how to bring them back. Oh no. You can take control back if you need to, Scott.
Right.
Okay, so some of the things that we're going to be covering, so that way you guys kind of have an idea of what we'll be talking about, how we're going to be divvying up the days, things like that, right? So right off the top, I want to spend a healthy amount of time on video. To me, video is the best place, dollar for dollar, that everybody can be spending their time right now. Whether that's YouTube, Facebook, it doesn't matter, Instagram, like whatever. Video is 100% the best place. So what we'll be covering regarding that is, like I mentioned before, everyone that comes live, and I would highly recommend anyone that's fly on the wall live as well, have whatever camera you're ready to shoot with, because we're going to be shooting video at the event. And then I'm going to teach you how to edit that video. Not because you're always going to want to edit your own videos, but because you're, at the very least, if you don't have a lot of cash, you're going to need to in the beginning. And if you aren't going to be the one doing it and you're going to be outsourcing it, you need to know what the heck is supposed to be done. If you're just going to be throwing good dollars after bad if you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, essentially, right? So we're going to be shooting video. We're going to be editing it. I'm going to show you exactly step by step by step. Here's what you need to do. Here's how you do it. You don't have to have expensive software. You don't have to have an expensive camera. If you have those things, great. If you don't, it doesn't matter. Then we're going to dive in on YouTube basics, YouTube advanced strategies. So try to get to as much as we can, kind of YouTube basics in the morning on the first day. Then we're going to dive in on the backside on the advanced strategies on, kind of after lunch, right? And then towards the end of the day, we're going to dive in on live. Live video is becoming ridiculous across numerous different platforms. So we're going to talk about all the different platforms, strategies for executing against them, and deciding if that's the way that you can or should go regarding video, right? After that, we've got a really, really long session and a few modules based on Facebook and a lot of different components of it. Talking Facebook groups, talking Facebook pages, talking your personal. Obviously, we'll have seeded in a little bit of Facebook Live during the video modules, but we're going to touch base a little bit more on it in that section. Then we're going to talk about Facebook ads, how to set up an ad, how to run an ad, how to kind of structure those types of things, how to set your audience, all of that kind of stuff. So it isn't just Facebook marketing, it's also the ad side, which is really important, especially when it comes to capital raising, finding deals, things like that. And then we're going to move into other social platforms, right? Kind of everywhere that isn't Facebook, essentially, right? It's going to be Instagram. LinkedIn is huge. Snapchat, some other different kind of places, email, those types of things. And then on the last day, we're going to kind of put it all together, right? We're going to talk about branding, storytelling, how to take all of the things that you've learned and then apply them across all of these different silos, right? So you can basically step back and you go, okay, video is for me, and it's in this particular platform, in this particular way, and I can apply it this particular way, right? And you can kind of start setting up that strategy that we talked about before. And so then we kind of start putting all of these pieces together. We've explained all the individual parts. Here's how you put it into a recipe that actually gets you raising capital, gets you doing deals, gets you moving forward. Again, whether you if you have a friend that has a business of any kind and they need marketing help, please send them this link because it doesn't have anything to do with real estate. I actually am super pumped for one of the girls that's going to be in the room. She's actually, I hope, she's this close to being able to make sure she can get there. She's actually a fitness professional. That's the daughter of a really great friend of Scott and I's. And I'm really excited if she's going to be able to be there live because she's super young. She's actually getting married in May, and I cannot wait for her to take all of these principles and freaking explode with her fitness business. It doesn't matter what you do. Everything we're going to talk about is going to apply. It's going to be killer. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Nice. Yeah, Stacy and Karen says, hey, Chase, this will be fantastic. We'll see you online.
Yes. I love the walls. They're so great. One of the last things somebody was asking me about was, am I going to cover gear? Because I like to, if you got your phone or you got this, you got that, they understand that they don't need all of the best. But what I'm essentially going to be doing is kind of putting together a resource guide for everybody. It's not like it's not going to be like a full-on manual because everyone's going to kind of have those recordings if they're a part of either the live or the virtual. But it'll be kind of a resource guide of here's very basic, kind of intermediate and advanced kind of tools as well as gear. If you are one of our good friends, Scott, is actually sending his marketing person right to the event. He's a guy who can use that advanced stuff, right? These lights or these cameras or this type of mic or this type of stuff, right? But most people are going to be in the basic. Some are going to hit that intermediate level. So we're also going to kind of cover some different gear options. I'll have stuff in the room for people to try out, all of that kind of stuff, so they can figure out, oh, this is for me or this isn't for me, which would be really cool. Also, worth noting, though, I don't think this will necessarily sway anybody. We will have some giveaways for those that are live, which will be a lot of fun. And these are going to be not lame giveaways. These are going to be really, really great. So if you can be in the room because they're going to be slam. It's going to be a lot of fun. So
cool, good stuff. Yeah, guys, take advantage of this. It's limited kind of live seating, everybody. It's not going to be 50, 40 people. We're literally talking a room for 20 people.
Yeah,
so,
definitely. And if you've got a business partner, if you got a business partner or something like that you need to, send them an email. If we need to figure something out, we can. But it's going to be huge. I'm really excited about it, and we wanted to limit the numbers because of all of the hands-on that's going to be happening. It just flat out wouldn't be possible. So
awesome. Any other questions before we let Chase get back to his three kiddos for the night?
My wife sent me a text. She left. She's like, I'm out of here. You know, she took the kids to her sister's house. She's like, I'm done.
Oh, nice. Good
Yeah.
stuff. Good stuff. Here we go. Question popped up that. Uh, okay. That's great. Yep, 20 people are going to make it very effective. That's right. Thanks, David. Appreciate it.
Yep. Yep. And to make sure that you guys understand from that virtual aspect, that fly on the wall aspect, we will do everything we can to kind of get to those questions, but we're definitely going to be keyed in on the people that are live in the room for sure. But those recordings, that's going to be where it's killer. It's essentially what, 8 hours a day or so, right? Like 24 hours of just nothing but marketing so you can actually grow your business. It's crazy.
Yep. Yep. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, guys. There's the link for you, bit.ly/marketingmadnesschase. Take advantage of it. Get signed up. Whether you could decide to come in person or you decide to join us online there. Laura says, great content again. Thank you, Scott and Chase. Thanks, Laura. Lisa, we'll see you soon. Awesome. Good stuff. Any final comments, Chase? Before we let them sign off for the night?
Yeah, I'd say the final comment, it looks like some people are bouncing out. I'd say the final comment for me and kind of looking at all this, and we'll address it kind of in person for sure, is that last bit, right? Like the only way to quality is through quantity, and you have to do a lot of work. You have to put in that work early or else you're not going to be great, and it's just part of the process. And that's where I want to, that step is necessary, but either viewing this live through the virtual or being live in person especially, we talk about 10,000 hours to get good at something. You're able to cut that in half, cut that into a quarter by doing things like this, because I can answer so many questions before you even have them, right? Like you won't have to deal with X, you won't have to deal with Y, you won't have to deal with Z from a stub your toe perspective or fall over and someone's laughing at you perspective, because I'm already going to have answered that question for you. I'm already going to have showed you how to do it right, so you never actually have to worry about doing it wrong. And that's really going to be the key for a lot of people.
Yeah, totally is. Couldn't agree more with you there, Chase. All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for joining us. We look forward to seeing you this weekend, either in person in San Antonio or online. The hotel is booked. We've got some rooms available there. Definitely make sure for those who get signed up, get you guys the information for the hotel. But it's, what is it, the Hampton Inn, I think? What's the?
Yes.
Hampton Inn down in San Antonio there. It's a nice place. We've got a room set up with level home room set up with green screen, some other things like that. Some other cool stuff for those that are coming in to really take advantage of and knock their marketing out of the park the rest of 2017. So we will see you guys all next Monday night, or hopefully this coming Friday in San Antonio. So Chase, thanks for joining us, buddy. Thanks for giving us plenty of ass this Monday night.
Listen. I'm just glad I didn't have to twerk, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody for dealing with that PowerPoint there, man. Mike, I seriously caught Apple, if you're watching.
Got some flack, but it worked. It worked, brother. It worked.
Appreciate you.
Good stuff. All right, buddy. We'll see you guys later.